Lewis Art for the Ring magazine. Delighted to join with Eddie Hearn. Just concluded George Kambosos a unanimous decision victory over Jake Wyllie. And that's a really fun fight. That was. Yeah, it was
hell of a fight. I mean, you know, Jake Wyllie, everyone's been talking all week about how tough he is, how strong he is, but he's never gone past 8 rounds. And he's taken the fight at 5 days' notice. I mean, look, he had a fight in a couple of weeks planned, fit, but, you know, I thought it was a brilliant fight, brilliant all-action fight. For George Kambosos, big win to come through. I thought he boxed very well early, George, and then, you know, had a rough time in the back 4 or 5 rounds. And thought 117, 111 was pretty poor, if I'm honest. 115, 113, 116, 112. You know, like I think, but it was a really good competitive fight, and you know, Kambosos moves on probably for a shot at Richardson Hitchins, and a star is born, as I said, in Jake Wyllie.
Do you think it is always a bit dangerous with these short notice guys, like someone like Jake Wyllie? He's bang up for it, like,
because you've got a kid. Firstly, he's getting an opportunity to change his life, and obviously made a lot of money tonight, and you know, he's just game as a butcher's dog. And you've got Kambosos, who's been there, done it all. You know, all of a sudden, you know, you're in a situation where you get an opponent change, and you know, it can throw you off. And Jake Wyllie came in, put it all on the line. I thought what impressed me most about Wyllie was that he stood up to the firepower. He got hit flush a lot of time. We know he's a big puncher, but he just didn't stop. And he could have done 25 rounds tonight, Jake Wyllie. And it was a good fight, really good fight, competitive fight, and a great win for George.
So a future for Jake Wyllie at Matchroom as well?
Absolutely. I mean, look, we've got so many guys at 140. Australia's, you know, important to us as well. So, you know, we're going to be looking to definitely work with Jake Wyllie again.
Touch on that cut for George Kambosos there. Any worries that affects the due date?
I mean, look, the date is going to be June 21st is what we're targeting. And there's no movement on that date. I mean, whoever Richardson Hitchins is fighting on that date, George Kambosos or someone else. So I don't think the cut is that bad. I mean, you know, it's 13 weeks, I think, tonight. So it's going to take him 4 or 5 weeks for the cut to heal. But, you know, he'll be fit, and then he can start sparring again. And, you know, he needs to make that date. And I believe he can.
Yeah, just back to, that was my next question. But what was the date? That say 21st of June, the working date in New York. A real exciting fight between Hitchins and Kambosos.
It's a great fight. I mean, George is, as you saw tonight, he's all action. You know, he's captured all the belts at 135. Him and Richardson have been going at it on social media. The build-up will be epic, and I think it's a great fight.
Moving on, Skye Nicolson split decision defeat to Tiara Brown tonight. What was your take on the fight there?
I thought it was a fight that could have gone either way, to be honest with you. I don't think Skye performed at her best, and I think, you know, I don't know the reason for that, but also it's because Tiara Brown boxed really well. You can't just say, you know, oh, I wasn't at my best tonight. Tiara forced the pressure. She did what others weren't able to do. Whether that was Skye was not at her best, or whether that was Tiara's game plan was too good. I thought Skye won 9 and 10, and I thought that probably was going to nick her the fight. And to be honest with you, I thought looking at the scorecard of the Australian judge, I thought it was pretty disgusting. They gave Tiara Brown the last 5 rounds for lost it. I mean, like, you have to give her 9. I think 10. But all the scorecards are all over the place. But when I got in the ring, it was one of them. I mean, I don't see how you couldn't give one of them 4 rounds in a worst case scenario. So, you know, I think no complaints really. Fight that could have gone either way. So I guess sometimes when you're at home and there's an Australian judge on the split, you think we're going to get it, but we didn't. And tonight is Tiara Brown's night. She's been great all week. She's brought great energy. She realised the dream tonight. And for Skye, it's back to the drawing board. She'll be back, and she'll learn a lot from tonight, because she's never been in a fight like that before. And I thought she showed grit as well. But she didn't get in her rhythm, she didn't get in her flow, because Tiara boxed well as well. So she'll be back, and I believe Skye Nicolson will be world champion again. But tonight, it belongs to Tiara Brown.
Do you look at making the rematch, do you think?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I believe the WBC will make the rematch anyway. But, you know, it's just, we've got to get it right. You can't just jump back into a rematch and get beat again, or perform like that again. You've got to be much better. So whether that's to go, rebuild, have a fight or 2, and then go into the rematch, maybe. But of course, you know, Skye Nicholson's reaction will be, I want to run it back immediately. I believe she can box much better than that.
Of course.
And if she boxed a little bit better than that, she would have won the fight. So, you know, there's a lot to take from it. But tonight's Tiara Brown's night. You know, she's worked her whole life for this moment, and you've got to give her the credit. She went in there, she won the fight. And I know Skye will be back stronger.
Yeah, for sure. I want to touch on Teremoana as well. Obviously, another first-round stoppage. Is it ever difficult with these guys, you know, especially as a heavyweight? Like, it's sometimes hard to get the rounds in, but is there a point where, you know, you do have to take a step up? Because from a fight like that, Teremoana doesn't really gain anything.
Yeah, I mean, look, you look at the guy, James Singh, he's, what was he, 12-3 or something like that? Like, he's a tough guy. But the problem is, Teremoana's a real fighter. I mean, Teremoana, for me, can compete now with top 15 heavyweights in the world. But the only thing lacking is professional experience and rounds. But the problem is you've got to get those rounds. But when you fight like Teremoana, you're not going to get those rounds till you really step up. You know, so I think like at the end of the day we've got to turn around and say, you know, we've got to say it's time to step up a little bit. We hope that there's Australian fighters that will step up. You know, but at the same time, he punches very hard. He's very athletic. He doesn't stop throwing punches. He comes, you know, he opens up from the first bell. He's a huge character, a huge personality. He's going to be a massive star, Teremoana. Yeah. But I just don't want to waste the training camps, and that's where we've got to try and find someone. No one really wants to fight a 7-0 heavyweight prospect. Like, they just don't, unless you pay them an absolute fortune. So, and especially in Australia, it's difficult to get the people to fly in. And, you know, James Singh's a pretty tough geezer, to be honest with you, but he's just nowhere near good enough for Teremoana.
Yeah, of course. Imam Khataev, that was a really exciting
fight as well.
fight.
I thought it was a great night, to be honest with you. And Khataev's a tremendous fighter. And Palacios is a guy that we need to bring back.
100%.
For you know, that guy's going to test a lot of 175-pounders, and that's valuable rounds tonight for Khataev, who is for me, he's a guy that's going to be mixing at world level for sure.
Yeah, a couple more away from tonight. I did see Harlem Eubank against Jack Catterall potentially getting pushed by obviously Jamie Conlan and Sam Jones. Would there be passion to make that fight? Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, look, Harlem's, you know, he's had some big audiences. We're doing a presser. Yeah, come. Harlem's had big audiences on Channel 5, and you know Jack Catterall needs a big fight. So we're ready for anyone for Jack Catterall, and if it has to be Harlem Eubank, why not?
Yeah, Simon Jordan, your good friend, made a few comments, especially this week, regarding the bet. But he also made a comment that Anthony Joshua isn't credible enough to be fighting for a world title next on Talk Boxing. Didn't know if you had any reaction to that.
Basically, the way that the world works is if you're the biggest name in the heavyweight division, actively, which Anthony Joshua is right now, the biggest commercial draw in the division, Tyson Fury's retired, he can fight whoever he wants at any time. Right? I mean, Jake Paul's not really credible to fight Canelo Alvarez, but they signed a contract. AJ's a 2-time world heavyweight champion, and he's the biggest name in the division, still. So he can fight anyone he wants, like that. Simon Jordan's got no say at all. But I don't think he will fight for the heavyweight world championship, probably next. I'm not going to say too much right now, but get fucking ready.
Okay. Right, that's that. Eddie, thank you for your time, mate, and always thank you for Matchroom.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for coming out. Ring Magazine, Riyadh season. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Cheers.